Fikile Mbalula, the Provincial Secretary of KwaZulu-Natal, Comrade Dumiseni Tuli, the Provincial Spokesperson of KwaZulu-Natal, Noma Kuku Similan. Oh, Noma Kuku Similan is Zulu. I was making a joke earlier on Max that when I was Treasurer General of the Youth League, Noma Kuku was the Provincial Treasurer. Now I'm the national spokesperson, she's the provincial spokesperson. So we're not far. Well, colleagues, we've invited you today to come and give you feedback on preparations leading up to the 107th anniversary of the African National Congress next year, expected to be held here in KwaZulu-Natal. I'm going to hand over to the head of elections to read out our statement. Thereafter, we'll invite you to file questions that you may have for clarity. Thanks, and over to you, Comrade Max.
Thank you very much, Comrade Pule. Let us apologize for starting after time. Our meeting dragged, which was part of the preparations. And we know that you had arrived here on time. Now, because we're working on the choo-choo train, we ourselves, we don't want things that start after time. We know you've got other commitments, but you made time to come and listen to us. We are indebted to you for that. The ANC will, in 2019, host its 107th anniversary, popularly known as the January 8th Statement. The occasion marks the birthday celebration of the ANC and will take place right here at the Moses Mabhida Stadium on the 12th of January. And the January 8th will take place in Moses Mabhida Region, Ethekwini Stadium, on the 8th of January, as a build-up towards the launch of the manifesto. This anniversary is an important occasion for the ANC to connect with its rightful owners, the masses of our people. The January 8th anniversary will be utilized by the ANC to launch its manifesto that will contain all the commitments and the tangible delivery programs that the ANC will deliver on and in the next 5 years, building on an unparalleled progress we have made since 1994. President Cyril Ramaphosa, on behalf of the National Executive Committee, will deliver the manifesto. This will be preceded on the 11th of January and the 8th of January. Like I said before, 8th of January will be the actual anniversary of the ANC. And on the 11th of January, we'll launch the preview of the manifesto by the President, and we'll also launch our election album, the message that we'll be carrying, and to our people to communicate in song and in culture and our tradition and rendition, the SABC message to the mass of our people across the length and breadth of the country. Already the ANC has embarked on an intensive program to solicit input from the communities around the manifesto through the People's Manifesto Forums. Ours will indeed be a People's Manifesto carrying the hope and aspirations of all South Africans for the next 5 years. We've already been doing work on the ground through the Tumamina campaign, and the response is quite phenomenal. We can also confirm that our Tumamina campaign is increasing interaction between structures of the ANC and communities, exemplified by the weekly visits to various provinces by the National Executive Committee, led by the national officials. That the Tumamina campaign trail has already been to the following provinces: Gauteng, Eastern Cape, Free State, and KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga. This coming weekend will be in Limpopo. That the Tumamina campaign trail will be going to the province of Limpopo on the weekend of the 24th to the 25th of November 2018. And the President will join the prayer service, which is being invited to on Sunday, preceding the global events that are coming in our country in terms of a global citizen. He's been invited as the head of state to go and appear in the church service that will take place at FNB Stadium this coming Sunday. We will use the occasion of the January 8 to restore hope, unity and renewal as per the injunctions of the 54th National Conference held at Nasrec. We expect all the streets of Durban and KwaZulu-Natal to be painted black, green and gold. ANC support from across all provinces will descend on the city of Ethekwini. The program of the launch of the manifesto will immediately be launched in all the 9 provinces following KwaZulu-Natal after the launch at Moses Mabhida Stadium. We expect ANC supporters and well wishes to fill up the 74,000-seater Moses Mabhida Stadium and the overflow. So let's not have a topic about the stadiumology. Again, we can confidently say that it is all systems go, but it is not only the 74,000-seater. The Moses Mabhida Park on the other side will also be opened as an overflow, which takes up to 74,000 too. So all in all, we're expecting over 140,000 people in and around Moses Mabhida Stadium. We can confidently say that it is all systems go with all the preparations. As I've already apologized to you, you saw us in action, and then some other guys who came into our meeting, gate crashed. I don't see them here now, from the media. I don't know where they disappeared, but they came in earlier in our preparatory meeting of this important occasion. We can confidently say, based on that, it is all systems go with all the preparations, and the mood of excitement, optimism, and rejuvenation is palpable to all those we interact with, from business, churches, civil society, and ordinary citizens. We are also anticipating participation from our fraternal allies across the continent of Africa and abroad. January 8, as you may be aware, has its origin in the difficult days of the struggle for liberation, where the ANC issued its first birthday statement in 1972. This was to commemorate the founding date of the ANC on the 8th of January 1912. This statement, which has become part of the ANC tradition, to this date outlines the organizational program and give marching orders to all cadres of the movement to work hard to deliver a better life for all. We invite all citizens of South Africa to come to Moses Mabhida on this historic day, not only to celebrate with their movement, the ANC, but to also to send a strong message that the ANC is ready for an overwhelming electoral victory in the 2019 and provincial elections. We say this not because of arrogance, but because our people know that the ANC is a tried and tested leader of society that carries their hopes and aspirations, and that has always been ready to self-correct where missteps have actually happened. We say ours have been years of good and the bad, and where we have seen the bad and our people have come out to criticize us, we are prepared to accept the criticism, but we are committed to renewal. And we are building on that after our 54th National Congress. As we forge ahead, the ANC seized with the task of unity and renewal, which is at the core of all our programs, and to retain greater trust with the people of South Africa, as though at whose behest we continue to exist and lead. To instill cohesion and unity, we have already adopted various measures which include dismantling and stamping out factionalism and to rebuild operational trust through greater transparency and accountability. In conclusion, we urge all our members throughout the length and breadth of the country to be seized with the immediate task of unity and renewal of the organization, and further ensure that work is done on a daily basis to find solutions to the problems and challenges that our people are confronted with. Hence, Tumamina campaign is about obsessing with the challenges of the people rather than our own internal squabbles. Where we are confronted with such, we've been able to deal with those quite decisively, because the immediate task is to ensure to accelerate and embrace the hope and the new dawn that has come with the outcome of Nazareth Conference of the ANC and the resolutions we've taken in that particular conference, which we are in the process of implementing vigorously going forward. We also appeal to our members and well-wishers to work tirelessly in encouraging first-time voters to take advantage of the final IEC voter registration weekend on the 26th and 27th of January 2019, and also remind the registered voters to check and verify their particulars in order to deliver a decisive victory for the African National Congress. Aihlome ihlasele, rise and attack. Our 107th year anniversary will confirm once again that our people are ready to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Head of Elections. We will now invite members of the media to bring forward their questions, introduce yourselves and the media outlet you represent, and go. It will only open for 2 rounds of questions so that we know you have been detained a bit here, so I want you to go and file when time allows. Is that a hand or?
It's a hand.
Oh, okay.
Another stage.
But one hand. Any other? So the statement is clear, I take it. Okay?
Hi, my name is Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Erasmus. I'm from Newsweek magazine. I just want to ask, you mentioned a decisive victory next year in the elections. Have you got any polling data to this extent that shows what trajectory the ANC is looking at for the upcoming election?
Is that I take it that we only have that question? Are we all covered? You are not going to be calling when we leave here.
Well, all the other issues you want to cover will be answered tomorrow in Johannesburg. We have a media briefing tomorrow at 13 hours, which will be led by our spokesperson and Zizi Kodwa and Jackson Mthembu tomorrow to deliver our message on all the shenanigans that has been said and have been paraded in this country about the Zondo Commission. We want to assure you that the ANC will speak for itself. We have never run away from Zondo Commission, including what it says about members of the ANC individually and what has been said in that commission about the ANC itself. Our movement, led by Cyril Ramaphosa, have taken a decision to appear before the Zondo Commission, not under pressure. On our own, we took that decision because we owe it to our people and we owe it to that commission to explain ourselves about what has been probed currently as the state capture. And we are an organization that came from conference with a mandate that we must expeditiously establish this commission. We have established that commission. It's now doing its work. And we have called on our members through our leaders and the statement of the NEC that whoever feels so can assist the commission, they can come forward. And so that is the terrain we're not afraid of. We'll speak for ourselves. Our own organization will appear before the Zondo Commission and answer to all the allegations and all the things that have been said about the ANC by interested parties before the Commission. So we'll speak for ourselves tomorrow. And to further clarify, because we don't want to run a running commentary, but if there are things that arise that have been perpetrated otherwise, purported otherwise, it is important for us to clarify. So in this press conference, we will not answer those issues. I think you are thirsty for them. So to ask about them, because it is part of your terrain. But we will be able to talk about them at length tomorrow and to restate our position about what we think about the Zondo Commission. Obviously, there are things that we'd like to talk about in relation to that have been said, and which we want to restate our position going forward. And that will happen tomorrow in Johannesburg at 13 hours. Jonathan, elections, and in particular research data, is a science. And elections is an art. There are people who have already pronounced that they will be in union building. But the telling story is, what will the masses say? The ANC is not taking this election for granted. We know that we are going to our constituencies, not as an opposition, but we are interacting with our people as the ruling party. And being a ruling party, we know is not a chance taker, because everybody blames the ruling party. And where we ourselves could have moved with speed, we're the first to admit that indeed we could have done better, but we could do better. So that is why the People's Manifesto of the ANC is informed by that. Talking to the people, and even them telling us that in terms of your commitment on this, you could have done better by intervening in this way and that manner. And then we take that into the drafting process of the manifesto, which its outcome and the manifesto and the slogan of our campaign will be unveiled next year by the President. We don't argue with the polling. We have done the polling ourselves, as you would have asked. But our polling is not a matter of public consumption, but it's not far from what others are saying. But we not argue with that. Even before we start to campaign, you are saying we'll polling below 60, generally, and so on. And some are saying we'll be above 60. So we're analyzing each that comes our way, even independent ones that are conducted in South Africa, because to argue with the polling is like undermining the essence of the campaign. But we're embracing that in relation to our elections approach, which will be unveiled next year on January 12th. To repeat for all of you to remember, because you will be here, 12th of January will celebrate 107 years of the ANC. On January 8th at Renewal Stadium, Mdu is the chief of that event at Moses Mapida region. We are expecting 14,000 people in that stadium. When President Ramaphosa will remind them of January 8th and what January 8th means for us. Because January 8th has always been about marching orders. What did the ANC say to you last year? We will work for unity and renewal. Now, unity and renewal has got its own challenges. We came from an important conference. We'll act with speed where we've got challenges, which is what we've been doing. Where we've got challenges, including in the economy, we will work to reshape the economy to produce growth and address unemployment, which is key to us. And President Ramaphosa, and leading the leadership in government and the ANC, has been seized with that task. Has always been an over-obsession and preoccupation. Others who are in the streets and everywhere else have had something to say, but we've had an important job summit, which was the mandate of that January 8th statement. We have had to attract investment in the country. Important investment conference took place with tangible, actionable commitments from the private sector. Something that has never been done before in the history of this country, because remember, we've talked about private sector investments like 290 billion on the table for effective job creation. More than 90 commitments of intervention in terms of job creation. More commitment on stimulus package and turning the economy around from its slumber to be able to produce growth in order for us to succeed going forward. So that has been our preoccupation. We'll talk about that. Where are we? Because it's been our mandate. Land redistribution program. We've gone a long way in relation to implementing that. And all other resolutions that we've actually taken. Unity and renewal, building a formidable force being the ANC. Where we've had our infightings, we've been vociferous to deal with that. And it doesn't ever end. But President will speak and give a review of that. And then on Friday, we will then descend at ICC, where you will get a sneak preview of the manifesto by the President. And we will also make you dance with an album of the ANC for the election campaign. Because the ANC is embraced by all people in society, even artists. So they will come in song to sing for this movement. And will equally get prayers from people who love this movement to succeed. So that is the occasion on Friday at ICC. Now it's not summer awards, just come. And so on, you are all invited. On Saturday, the President will unveil the slogan and will unveil the campaign message, will unveil the manifesto of the ANC at this stadium, which we are expecting that it will be packed to the rafters, more than the Bafana Bafana game. Now, they are also invited to attend. So we're looking to a quite important response in relation to that. So Jonathan, do we have the data? I've answered you. We do have, and we're looking at polling. We don't take polling for granted, but we're not arguing against polling. But if they say ANC, you'll get 43%, you'll lose Gauteng, and there will be a coalition. We are watching. We are waiting for overwhelming victory. But that victory is not a given. It's not a given. It's a victory that we must work for. And we need to shape up as an organization going forward in this campaign. So we are very aware of that. And it's not for us to argue with others about our weaknesses. It's for us to correct ourselves. That's how we will win the trust of the people. And that is our commitment as we move on to the launch of this manifesto next year, January. Thank you very much.
You see, that's why I said you must raise your hands so that we... Okay. This is the last set of hands, I take it. Okay. Okay.
Hi, my name is Zianda Mmo from Eyewitness News 702. I just wanted to check, I mean, you've been speaking about fixing your internal challenges and unity and organizational renewal, but do you believe that this message has landed well with the communities that you've visited and the provinces that you've mentioned? Because there are still numerous core challenges that you're facing. We know that even just yesterday, the former Premier in the Northwest lost a court challenge. I mean, how are you dealing with those comrades as well who are still disgruntled? Are they a part of the election campaigning? And then just lastly, have there been any questions raised to you as the ANC about the participation of certain leaders in the campaign trail? How are you explaining that to your constituencies? Thanks.
Jessie from ENCA. Mr. Mbalula, just a question around, you spoke about trust towards the end of your last response there. just want to find out if the President's revelations about Bosasa and the funding issue there has harmed your campaign in any way, and if so, what kind of damage control would you have to be doing around that issue? Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Simpo Makanya. I work for SABC TV News. Well, mine is just a follow-up on the question that Zandia posed earlier on. Mr. Mbalula, if we can look at the state of the African National Congress currently, are you as the party happy that heading to these elections that you are aiming to win overwhelmingly, that you will be able to achieve this victory, given, of course, the problems that we have been seeing in the Northwest, Free State, and in this province in particular? The state of the ANC, is the ANC ready for this overwhelming victory that you are talking about? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nukule Oshope for SABC Radio News. Mine will be tied with distance line. On the Bosasa, we understand that ANC had about 7 presidential candidates last year, and we now understand that the president has come out that he got funding through Bosasa. Is the ANC investigating all other candidates, or how is the ANC going forward, going to kind of like address the part of funding for those running for top positions?
It's tough. Let me put on my example. You want to take a part? Yeah. And then we'll add. Yeah. On any of the questions. Yeah.
Let me take this question that I think you are asking, and some people added. The issue of this Bosasa issue is an issue that the president addressed in the National Assembly when the question was posed for all South Africans and ourselves to hear his response. After that, 1 or 2 other issues have arisen, including the fact that the president has written back to the Speaker of the National Assembly. What we're saying is that if there are more issues to be clarified, the president and those he worked with at that time, they are better placed to deal with the matter. And what we want to say is that we support the statements by the president up to now, where he comes up front and say, this is my response to the matter, but because more clarity is required, we trust that the president, now that he's back from overseas, is going to deal very, very adequately with that particular matter. But one thing that we're saying, surely, we're not going to take another year discussing that matter, or another 2 years discussing that matter. When the president deals with the matter, it will be a straightforward response, which should close the matter. But we should deal with this matter as if the bill has already been passed. It has not been passed, and therefore, I'm sure in good time the matter will be responded to with a view to closing it as soon as possible. When we come to the last one that I want to deal with, is whether the organization is ready to face the election. Let me just say, firstly, there will always be a situation where you want to be this ready at a particular given time as you build up to the campaign. And you may find that in actual fact, you are not necessarily where you would want to be. But the structures of the organization on the ground, and or from there, on this campaign trail that Max is talking about. But from the side of organizing, I can tell you that we have a very, very good base. We are running nominations, and for each of the nominations you require a branch to correct. And up to now, we have run more than 2,068 of those nominations countrywide out of just above 3,000, which means we were not far from where we want to go. But judging from the life that our structures have shown on the ground, it gives us a feel that the structures, not only do they exist, but they are ready for nominations, close those, get ready for to carry the campaign itself. But on the election side, in terms of establishing structures, all the provinces who have gone to, they've established structures at all given levels. All they need us to do is to sharpen them, is for us to give them details of the direction in terms of what they should do, be it ID campaign, be it registration, be it any other related. So as the ANC, we are ready. The structures of the organization in all provinces are ready. Of course, if there may be a thing or two in the Northwest, as you say, but you will agree with me that we are no longer where we started off, like one president had to come back from England to deal with to lead us to Northwest. We have since moved far away from that particular situation to take a shape that we want the Northwest province to ordinarily take. That would be my answer.
On the issue to add on Maqingwana with regard to Busasa, even though these have not been polled, but what is encouraging is that society has responded overwhelmingly, of course, except those who are our opponents, to the president not only gesture, initiative, to respond to clarify the issues. Remember, President Ramaphosa was not put under pressure by anybody to make those revelations. He would have concealed them if he was a crook and basically bury it because it has got far-reaching consequences. But he deemed it fit because the question posed by the leader of the opposition in Parliament was not in line. But he went on, but he went back to check and gave a very detailed and honest response. And, nobody said, no, you lied. So why didn't you? So even when you have seen and you have researched, those who are opponents, they say, no, he lied. How do you accuse a person of a lie when he has basically gone back, checked the facts, and dealt with the facts himself to clarify? And society have welcomed that because that is ethical leadership. Now, if you guys have polled it and have arrived at the conclusion that it has affected the stature of the president, we have not done that. But we welcome the gesture, but also the overwhelming support from the people of South Africa for what the president have actually done. Because he could have just buried in, and then said that, no, this was not the case, and this and that, and philosophize about it. But we are not in that era. We're in the era of dealing with issues head on. And that's what the president has actually done. in relation to that particular matter. And linked to that, in terms of the structures of the ANC and who was involved in terms of the campaign, it's a matter for the ANC if it wants to deal with that and how. But it's a matter for the ANC to deal also with the renewal process. How do you want people to campaign openly in the organization in future? Because for the first time in the election that we come from, we had individual candidates who had their own campaigns. It's not only President Ramaphosa. Even the person I supported, we had a nice campaign, but I don't know the budget. So we had a campaign, everybody had a campaign, Jeff had a campaign, Lindiwe Sisulu, it is a must, had a campaign, and Zweli had a campaign, we had a very interesting campaign. Shouldn't the ANC in its renewal process look at that? So that the campaign can also raise the question of where you get the resources. And that was an experiment, even though not sanctioned, but it happened. We are a dynamic organization. And some of you had your own campaigns in the media of who you support, which I think you supported CR more than anything. We didn't have a chance in that campaign in the media with my candidate. You were lambasting us from left to right, including bringing issues that had nothing to do with the campaign, that she's married to President Zuma and all of that. It was a campaign. Some was dirty. Some campaign was basically straight. We had that. We had fun. Yes, we had fun, of course. It was fun. I addressed a couple of people. So I had fun in that way. And finally the conference closed the matter. So the president comes out and says that, no, this came from people who supported me for my campaign. Now, you will remember, you see, Muzi Maimane is grandstanding. Go and ask him a question about donations for his own campaign for the DA, which he had to contend with in Parliament. And what was his answer? It was an oversight for me not to declare. In the ethics, John S. Jensen said that, go and check. News 24, they could record them. Muzi Maimane was one of the people who got donations to support his candidature for the DA. And what did he say? Let's go and check about it. Now, there are people who are there in the campaign over Zilia supporting me to become a president. They run a campaign, they get donations and all of that. It's a matter that we need to address going forward. But the fact of the matter is that our president did not concede it. And to an extent that he's even prepared to pay back that money. Because he said it, he was not aware. Now, if you're in opposition, you'll stick with that. You'll stick with that because you think it will bring Ramaphosa down, you're attacking the ANC and all of that. But the reality is the truth is with us. Wouldn't Ramaphosa, if he was a crook, conceal that because he knows the implications of anything of that sort? He would, but he's not. He put all the facts to you, unquestioned, unpressured, immediately. When he picked up all the facts on the table, he clarified that. So the ANC statement has been very consistent to say that, we welcome the statement of the president on the matter, because the president is taking the nation into confidence. We argued with you guys. We've got experience over issues we could have dealt with differently in the past. We argued with you, and the others made campaigns around it to defeat us. So, in this particular instance, it is leadership to realize that we were able to act in that particular manner. And we welcome the overwhelming support of the people in this regard, and welcoming the president's how we basically address this matter. You can compare with others and many other issues, but it's a matter for another day. State of the ANC. Look, the ANC machinery will respond to the campaign, like my and I have said. We're confident of that. Our members are eager and very passionate about getting out there and serving communities. Our Tumamina campaign demonstrates that. We have said to the members of the ANC, Tumamina campaign is about fixing people's issues. If people of Shikwane in Kiani are having a problem of water, there is immediate intervention. We brought boreholes. Yes, we've got enormous challenges of financing the water project in this country. And there is drought everywhere else. Remember, there was drought, and then there was zero, whatever, in Cape Town. And we're still not bathing properly there because there is shortage of water. Okay? But the DA forgets about it. And the fact that there were even implications that they went to raise money using that particular thing in Israel for the zero thing. Here in the Republic, we've got a big challenge in this country of water scarcity. Pray for rains. But we will pray for rains, but we equally have got big challenges in relation to what we need to do to resolve that particular problem. And we are dealing with that particular matter. So the Shikwane problem and many other challenges will be seized by this government because the masses issues and challenges accumulate. And as a ruling party, you are at the cold face of that. Now, if you talk from the streets and we don't do anything about it, we'll be accused. But we don't want to blame those who criticize us. It is up to us to resolve people's issues. And that's what Tumamina is about. When we embraced the clarion call from the president about Tumamina campaign, we said we as ANC members will focus on governance and ensure that those things that are impediments in the life of our communities, we must resolve them. You resolve the problem of water, you resolve the problem of a village. That is what is important for us as a ruling party. And that's what we need to do as the African National Congress. The last point, the court challenges and the disgruntled members. Look, we're a democratic party and we're a very big party. We must accept that. And there will be people who feel dissatisfied about certain processes in other provinces, about how ANC processes have unfolded. They've taken us to court. But we believe in the law of the ANC. Because if we respect our own law, guided by our own constitution, there's nobody who can defeat that. And that's why in many courts, our own members who have taken us to court have been defeated because they miscalculated on the constitution. But we have said we will not be technical and chase people away. We have not done that. From northwest to anywhere, those people who have taken the ANC to court, they are still our members. That's the approach this leadership have taken deliberately, that the ANC will only reject the incorrigible. Those who feel that this is no longer their home, we can't help them. Even those who take us to court and get defeated every day, we have not rejected them. And they take the organization into court and we've said, yes, the constitution, where did we go wrong? They got defeated. Because we combine the technical with the political. Our aim is to build an organization. It's too much to lose even one member in the organization. That's why we are on renewal and unity. But our people are not interested in ANC squabbles. They are interested to know what the ANC does to change their lives. They don't care that Mbalula goes to court 15 times and gets defeated. They want to know, how is the ANC impacting on my life, what they've promised me in the manifesto they will do. And that's why we're focused. And that's what we're doing. To be obsessed with people's issues and fix their issues and reconnect with them. It is in that way that we're going to win their trust. So after Nazareth, we've realized that there could be social distance, which we've alluded to, and how do we deal with that? You don't argue with that, you go down. This past weekend, we were all over the place. We were in Mpumalanga. We were resolving problems of the people there, from housing issues, from corruption in the municipalities. We're resolving those issues, and we leave that legacy with our branches to continue. Now, in sum, you will have seen in our campaign of Jumamina the response of ANC structures across the length and breadth of the country. And we are encouraged, and it is that register and that mark that make us to come to a conclusion that we are ready. We have spoken to our volunteers, everything, and so on. We don't buy volunteers. Our volunteers are ready to defend the movement and to work for the people in the areas where they come from. The ANC leaders in the trade, everybody will participate in the trade. If you refer that to President Zuma, he will be in the trade. If you refer that to President Mbeki, he will be in the trade, he will be invited. Everybody, all our structures, all our leaders, former and present, they've got a contribution to make in this campaign. And we will invite them, those who have not. And here in KZN, last week you would have seen President Zuma on the ground in our campaign trail in terms of interacting with the masses. There's no issue about that. There's no issue about that. It's going to happen. Everybody will participate in the campaign. The campaign is led by President Ramaphosa, and the director is Fikile Mbalula. Yes, period. So that's the face of the campaign. All of us, we are coming behind the president. He's the face and the leader of our campaign. So everyone who wants to come and contribute in the arts, in all spheres of society, to make the ANC campaign, they will be doing that behind the president. And that's